We're number one in the world. We're number one in the world. In idiots, douglAR Politics, Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m. Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m. Economy shattered. Businesses shutting down. Good people contemplating breaking the COVID-19 SOE regulations. Employees starving. Banks foreclosing. No money, no food. Hampers, double dipping, called greedy. Trinidad and Tobago, no vaccination, no herd immunity, porous borders, they opening the normal borders. We dying, 13 deaths per day, highest death rate in the world. We're number one in the world, number one in the world. No data, clowns, people playing political games with their professional careers, doctors on PNM boards giving advice and upholding Rowley's lies, disgusting lies, whether about invitation to Tobago versus vigil for our lost daughters. Rowley, you are such a disgusting human being. Pre-action protocol, I hear you sending out. Send some for me now, Rowley. I'm waiting for mine. Send my pre-action protocol. Your Oreo ballhead dunce. douglAR Politics, Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m.
This is douglAR Politics, yo. douglAR Politics. Listen, douglAR Politics, yeah. douglAR Politics. This is douglAR Politics, yeah. douglAR Politics. This is douglAR Politics. douglAR Politics. This is douglAR Politics, yo. douglAR Politics.
Good evening and welcome to douglAR Politics. Oh Lord, it has sport, it has Olympics, it has football, it has Trinidad and Tobago, Angus Eve coming up against French Guiana at 4:30. But I don't understand. CONCACAF, all you don't know that the world of football, everybody who love football. And if there is a big game with Italy and Spain, the biggest clash of the Euro 2021, all you go really schedule a game, Trinidad and Tobago, French Guiana at 4:30. Suppose Italy, Spain going to extra time. That was not very good scheduling. Plus, Trinidad and Tobago players would like to watch Italy, Spain. French Guiana would like to watch Italy, Spain, but no big thing. And I see we're doing much better. I could see improvement. I'm watching the second game after the Italy, Spain, and then England tomorrow. But anyway, as we talking that, let us move one time. Imbat, Colm Imbat says, new fuel prices regime coming. Finance Minister Colm Imbat said yesterday, the eventual retail cost ought not to be much different from that prevails now. Imbat, what? Long time smoke with that shake up the camera so. But are you really serious? You take away the people's subsidy. You take it away once, twice, 3 times. They ain't riot yet. You come now you're going to liberalize, which means that NP and thing must and Unipen must get a markup. Then you're going and sell, maybe to get chicken, and then them going and mark up, and the price will be about the same now. But the whole world moving, the whole manufacturing sector coming up. UK starting to throw away all COVID-19 protocols and things. Everybody flying, plane flying. Well, not in Trinidad and Tobago because we are sure Tobago beg off for a little bit more time for the airport, and no international carriers have been instructed whether they could fly or not. So, like everything in the PNM, total chaos. So, Imbat, we go really be the same, eh? Well, if all your human beings, after so long knowing Imbat, believe Imbat, the douglAR can't help all you. All you run the track, let we hear Imbat. Imbat come in, man.
The price of fuel by 15%. I then realized that was not enough. I came back again in April and I raised it again by 15%. And I came back again just a few weeks ago and raised it by another 15%. They haven't rioted yet. So I might raise it by another 15% in April of next year.
Archie talking to me and disturbing me, but it's all right, Archie. Yes, we're moving right ahead in, but so let me tell you something. Don't take that doing on, you know. Pain coming. I tell all you brace. Because multiply by 2 or 3 what your current work pain, like in about February, March. Multiply by 3 to get the same amount of gas in your car to drive the same distance. Okay? So let's start to think, because the Dwayne and them, they just talk. Imagine the newspapers. Big story. And this is the problem with Trinidad and Tobago. And this mass media, I bet it's the Guardian. See how I don't lie on them? Guardian. Big story. Prestige Holdings, which is the chicken man. They build a whole interchange. The PNM to drop all you into a bucket of chicken, right? They are going there expecting a $2.2 million loss on expired inventory. Hold on. Let me shed a tear for Christian Mute, the PNM chairman of the Roadmap to Recovery. All the way the tear is coming. It's coming through my chest cavity, up through here, into my ducts. I'm going to shed a tear for Christian Prestige Holdings, KFC, Greasy, Spicy, Cripsy, Rowley, K-Pax Liquor. I'm going to shed a tear for you that you lost $2.2 million in inventory. Poor Chrissy Mute. Oh my gosh. That's what? 0.0001% of your gross revenue and your savings and your sales. Oh gosh. God, you know, let's sick or what? What to all the single mothers and things who had buy stock and they have no savings, they have no cash, they have no nothing. They buy 2,000 in goods to cook a little food, cook a little soup to sell, and then Rowley come and say, bam! Lockdown, no food, no sales. Them lost that 2,000. That 2,000 was 100% of what they had in order to turn into that to try and make another 1,500. But they lost the 2,000. That ain't no story. You come to tell me about Mute lost 2.2 million in inventory. Mute, go and scratch your... Listen, all you gonna make me cuss on this douglAR politics for air throwing good, boy. Talking about that, Show Restaurant closes its doors after 15 years. Now let me disclose, this one is painful to me because Chef Khalid Mohammed is my friend, my brother, my partner. Know him since 1983. I know when he started selling box lunch in the trunk of 280C. He father black 280C from Victoria Gardens, driving to people and selling and giving business and so on. I saw him become, work hard, start up, move catering, to come up, to get cordon bleu, to become bleu, cordon bleu. Let me talk like a Frenchman, like a from Martinique, or Guadeloupe, or Haiti. Yes. Saw him struggle to become one of the greatest chefs in the Caribbean, creating a brand, international, that people who come out from business people and so on come to Trinidad, they want to go to show, to eat, 5-star. The man is a culinary artist. When he cook food and he put it together, you don't even want to eat it, I tell you. You just want to look at it and take selfie with it. That man had to close up shop after having a successful brand. Think about everybody else who had to close up now. And this government is still talking with their arrogant, disgusting self, their heartless nature. He had to post that and then run the video. Check how painful this is. And this is businesses. If this business had to shut down, what about everybody else? What about all those across the board who will never open up again? Look at it. Look at it. Just take a look. Everything gone. Dreams gone. Hope gone. Savings gone. Business gone. Jobs gone. Downgraded. Listen to this carefully, you know, because the PNM is an all-round government. They are like an all-rounder. You know, Gary Sobers was the greatest all-rounder. Batsman, fielding, bowling, captain. captaincy, intelligence, wisdom, and all-rounder. You know, Gary Sobers, the PNM is an all-rounder. We dying in COVID, crash card pandemic, porous borders, economy shattered, no jobs, education worse, sports worse, culture worse, everything is the worst. Roads bad, hospital bad, no medicine, no health center, nothing working. The PNM is all wrong. On top of that now, Trinidad and Tobago downgraded. U.S. Trafficking in Persons 2021 report says, cops and officials facilitating crime. Trinidad and Tobago has been downgraded in the United States Trafficking in Persons 2021 report. The report said the downgrade to Tier 2 watch list was linked to corruption and law enforcement complicity in trafficking crimes, which remained a significant concern, and not enough being done by the government to combat the problem. Isn't that a very serious indictment on the PNM government, on Trinidad and Tobago, on our situation, that we have been downgraded, especially in human trafficking, and it shows that the government is not doing enough? You know where Guardian put that story? Page 9. How many human beings does even get a Guardian? And secondly, how many people does go quite to page 9? You understand? If Kamala was in charge, that would have been front page every newspaper, every column, every news show, every TV, every Facebook, every Twitter, every Instagram. But they hide that. U.S. report, independent report, hidden on page 9, that the PNM is failing in crime and Trinidad and Tobago's reputation is gone through. 85 held in Woodbrook nightclub raid. Remember, some people was in Woodbrook liming, taking a little lime. They get held in the raid, 85 of them to be charged. 85 patrons who were allegedly caught by police during a raid at the residence nightclub at One Woodbrook Place earlier this year have been charged and are expected to appear in a Port of Spain magistrate court. Okay, fair enough. You broke the law, you get charged. I have no problem with that, except that laws are supposed to apply to each and every citizen. That the laws must not be applied to some and not to others. Where the charges for this? Only remember this? How much people get charged for this? Where's this? Andrew Gabriel daughter wedding. Only remember that? Didn't it happen? Andrew Gabriel, Rowley brethren, Rowley bosom buddy, Rowley pocket liquor, Rowley boomsy fly. Remember this? Where the charges for this? Run it.
Because it only takes the drop in the guard of a few people and the irresponsible conduct of a few people, maybe one or two parties, maybe one or two lines, to put us on a slope to go backwards. We are maybe one party away or one fool away from that.
One fool away from that. So while you lock up and charge 85 young people for, yes, I agree. Where the charges for the 240 clowns who was in that wedding? Where the charges? You see, this country is becoming a total joke. You cannot have law and order. Some people have to follow the law. Some people get charged and others could do what the hell they want. Y'all think it's funny? It's not funny. It's obnoxious. It's wrong. As I tell all, it is a all-wrong goat government. Just, man. Landslide damage to road in Cedros. flooding in 6 CTTRC districts. TEMA on full alert. Ferry sailings cancelled from a little rain, a little drizzle. We ain't get nothing, we get a little ban. Not tribe or bliss, you know. We get a little ban of rain and it's flood and mash up. And Talbot was telling earlier, it have a report that say our disaster management is on point. It's on point like your teeth. Talbot, don't pop no picture of Talbot there. Actually, I'm not even playing it. All you go frighten me on this football day. Just leave Talbot off this show. This show trying to uplift. Right? But on top of that, a little rain and 2 ferry procure without procurement by Smallpin and Rowley down in Australia. Can't sail? $1 billion a vessel. A little drizzle. All you feel is joke. Ferry sailings cancelled. The passing of the outer band of Hurricane Elsa. The weekend sailings of the Inter-Island Ferry, flash floods and fallen trees according to Trinidad and Tobago Inter-Island Transportation Limited. Right? An advisory said that both sailings of the Buku Reef were cancelled yesterday. The APT James left the Scarborough port at 6:30 a.m. yesterday, but did not sail at 2 p.m. from Trinidad. The Cabo Star sailed from the Port of Spain as scheduled at 1 p.m. Today, the 8:30 a.m. scheduled sailing of APT James from Tobago has been cancelled. $1 billion? And Rowley vessel, Smallpin vessel, can't sail because it rained? Well, all you're good, I glad for you. Digicel Foundation provides groceries for 800 families. The Chinese Embassy gives Port of Spain Corporation $60,000 worth in hampers. Why they doing all this? When we good. People not hungry. People greedy and donor bundles and donor cocks. People not hungry, so why did Digicel Foundation have to give 800 families hamper? On top of those given by the government, on top of those given by NAMDEFCO, on top of those given in South Park, on top of those given out by all the NGOs, on top of those given out by churches, on top of those given out by individuals who calling me every minute for hamper. Since everything is under control, Donna Cox. How come we people greedy? All your PNM are greedy. The citizens greedy. Run the video there.
Speaking to a number of heads of NGOs, they are saying they've never seen the level of socioeconomic suffering that the country is in currently, especially in poorer communities.
Neither am I, that have been had. Is there anybody alive in Trinidad and Tobago today that ever seen a pandemic? Well, right. We are functioning in a pandemic, so it is no news to say I've never seen it before.
Government is not fully aware of, is out of touch with those realities. And they point
Joshua, are you saying that?
And no, not me, Prime Minister.
What are you saying?
And
What are you saying?
Some of those critics point to the statement made by Minister Donna Cox, who was asked after there was a long line seen in San Fernando. If I'm quoting her correctly, she said there are some in need and there are some in grief. Do you stand by that statement? Some people look at that statement as insensitive.
I stand by the statement. Why should I stand? That's not my statement. Why should I stand by it? And what the minister said has been properly explained by the minister. You may or may not accept it. Repeating it 1,000 times didn't change it. The minister explained what she said. You might say she shouldn't have said it. I might not have said it. You might not have said it. But it has been explained. So why am I going to spend my evening talking about that again?
People point to that and say that shows our level of
and such a person, if before that statement was made, would that person have said that the government is in touch and or would you continue they were that view before? It is not that statement that makes the people that you are referring to. It is not that statement that makes that person say that the government is out of touch. That was being said before by persons who want to say that. I could tell you one thing. This government has gone further than most governments in the world in responding to this pandemic. Understand that?
this government, meaning he crapo shot. Sharon, I am the man. You vex him? You catch him somewhere again? You catch him drifting? Where you catch him in HDC? Yeah? Where you catch him? By Donna Cox? Where you catch him? By Newsday, Judy Rip? Where you catch him? Because like you're on the man shot. That's why you open laundry? Yeah? Laundromat? This government has gone further than most governments to help citizens. Oh God, I don't know what to say again in this country, you know. The man is pathological. The gentleman needs help that I don't think all the psychologists, psychiatrists, and all the counselors in the entire Caribbean could help. People starving, lockdown, shutdown, broke down, who ain't dead, who reaching HDU, ICU dead. And he say he and he government have gone further to help people. People can't even get off 1,500 from since last year. Children out of school, no laptop, no devices, a whole 18 months. He has gone further. Businesses shutting down across the board. People suffering. People getting their houses gone, business gone, foreclosure across the board. And that Dunce Clong is convincing himself that he has gone further than whom? We are the worst in everything. We even have vaccine. Only 200 of he friend and them get Pfizer. Did you take the Pfizer? You wear that crumple up shirt to go and take the Pfizer? You Dunce Clong. You go talk about Kamala? Look, Donna Cox receives COVID hampers from Maritime Financial Group. She said the hampers will be put to very good use as many families are in dire need, and she was certain the recipients will be hard. I thought we greedy, Donna Cox. How we in dire need now? And why you taking things from Maritime? Ain't your government under Imbadi Duen say Maritime is not a known corporation and not a known entity? That's why he give Sagicor the CL portfolio, insurance portfolio, for $300 million less than Maritime bid. And all you don't remember these things. Raul, you make an excuse for Donna. Yeah? Or what she said and what she didn't say, and she explained that. Did she explain when the man was crying outside when you was there? Did she explain that? Or the man still have a banker? You see, all you don't get me vexed, you know, because people hungry, people starving, people business shutting down, the country is in a total mess, and y'all are playing games. Talking about playing games. Vassant, I just try to keep you out of this show, you know, Vassant. Vassant, take your knife and fork and go and eat your lasagna now, Vassant. Go and eat your roti with a knife and fork now. Go and eat your pizza with a knife and fork and leave we in peace, boy, Vassant. But since you want it, Vassant, okay, Vassant. Never mind, Kamala make you minister after you didn't even sign. You remember you was holding on to Bastio and the coattails, hoping Michaela would have loved you still? Remember that? And you didn't sign, but she still ignored that. She make you a powerful minister in the cabinet, acting minister of finance, minister of trade and industry, minister of agriculture. When you make she lost because you ain't perform, she still put you in the Senate. You come out and challenge she beat you. She say, boy, forget that, come back in the Senate. You're going again for a next cocktail. Now you come for a third cocktail. Now you're still talking. Vassant, ching ching. Eat your knife and fork and cool yourself, boy. Listen to this clown called Vassant. Now remember, this Vassant, he is on the PNM roadmap to recovery, you know. He's a part of that. Vassant, you are a PNM supporter. You are a PNM policy. All the pain we are in is the PNM roadmap to recovery that have we dead in, broken, business shut down, no jobs, nothing going on, Delta variant coming, Brazilian variant, people suffering, people dying. You are part and parcel of that, Vassant. So let's hear what you have to say, Vassant. 6 months ago, I wrote a letter below to the PL of the UNC. It was my second such offer to assist. Vassant, let's stop there. If you wrote a letter to the political leader of the UNC to assist, good for you. The UNC is not a parlor. It's not for you elite, feel you are on top to just come in and go to the PL. The UNC has a constitution, it has a structure, it's got a national executive duly elected, as you know. You went up with a whole slate and got curtailed in every office. And there are people who are there in charge of different aspects of the United National Congress effort, whether it's at the constituency level, the executive level, the marketing level, the policy level. So, Vasant, if you want to help your party that you say you're a member of, I don't know how you could be on a roadmap to recovery of the PNM, suffering people, and want to help the UNC, but you see, wishy-washy nimakarams like you who have no substance, that's sort of spineless thing, that's how y'all think. So Vasant, who the hell are you to be writing the political leader? If you would like to help, let's say it's in economic policy, then you call the person, the national executive member who was duly elected, who is creating policy positions, and you give your submissions. You ask them if there are any meetings, Zoom or otherwise, and you go there and give your help. Who the hell you feel it is that Kamala must answer you? I don't even call Kamala or email Kamala. If I want to do marketing, I call Kirk Nehru. If I want to do policy, I do so. If I want to do ground troops and get hampers, I call Wade Mark and whoever in charge of the executive. So let's continue with you. You have a very high opinion of yourself. You fit into the PNM well. You who are useless. You who have no support. You who get curtailed every 2 minutes. You think that you are some important. Vasant, call a meet. You had meeting trying to make your own party and couldn't get more than 11 people. 11 people and 2 stray dogs. And you think you are worth what? What exactly? Let's continue to read Vasant. Despite phone calls, emails, WhatsApp messages, and text messages, there has been no response. Okay, Vasant. I am taking it upon myself, Vasant. I am in charge of Vasant. Vasant, you have my number. Message me, WhatsApp me. I will meet with you on Zoom. Give me your ideas and I will pass it on to the relevant committees. You have an economic plan? You have any other plan? I'm a UNC senator. So please, Vasant, message me. Leave Kamala alone. You want to help us? We need help. We need all the ideas on board. We have to form strategy. We have to build. Come on, Vasant. I'm offering myself to take all of your help. You said you have a team. What exactly constitutes a team? What's your team? Did your team help you write this, Vasant? Your team certainly didn't turn out to vote for you, because that couldn't be a team, politics. Kamala has a team of 309,000 people. What's your team? What are you talking about? And are your team, are members of your team, members of the UNC? Well, then they are welcome. Every single member of the UNC who has a brain or not a brain, anybody is entitled to create policy, assist, set, get into committees, build the party, move the party forward, give suggestions. That's how the party operates. It's not a parlor. We're not selling dinner mint. We're not eating roti with knife and fork. Okay, Vasant? I don't think I'm going to read any more of you. You're boring, Vasant. You're ungrateful, Vasant. You're a maha ni makaram. Stay in your PNM, go and handle your roadmap to recovery, and cool yourself. You want to help we? Go and scratch Rowley K-Pax. That's all you good for. Take your bow tie and go Rowley. Tickle, tickle, Rowley. Tickle, tickle. Vasant, I am going to promise Archie and Vishnu, I'm going to ignore you from now on. Okay? Stop it. Go about your business. Do what you want now. You loser. PAHO closing borders not guaranteed to keep out COVID-19. Dr. Ciro Ugarte, Director of Emergencies for the Pan American Health Organization, said on Wednesday that opening or closing borders is not a guarantee COVID-19 will enter a country. The virus is already present internally and depends on the capacity for your healthcare and internal control. This is PAHO. Our borders have been closed not only to the general world population, but our very own citizens. And PAHO is saying, in essence, Rowley is a dunce, because there's no guarantee of nothing. So you have suffered our citizens especially for 17, 18 months. Have them outside there like vagrants. And PAHO, not me, not Anilo, not UNCO, PAHO says you're an idiot, Rowley. Young, small pin, promises all will be ready for borders reopening. Why are we listening to small pin? The only thing we want to know if it reopening small pin is Asha Javid for you. It reopen or it's still closed. All you make back, you come out of the park, that's all we want to hear. We don't want to hear nothing else because you is energy. How you reaching this? Where at Talbot? All you ban at Talbot, we already don't want to hear about it Talbot. Tobago wants more time for international flights to resume. Oh Lord, wait. I don't know how these fellas making douglAR politics, but since they begging to come in. You understand? douglAR politics like a good fet, a VIP fet. There are some men just begging to get in. Okay. Harry Partap. Harry PNM Partap. And your son went up for PNM. He screened. He helped them. He get through. You still writing about UNC Harry Partap? Hey, Harry Partap. Saddam Hussein not unjustly ejected from the House. The editor. The claim by opposition MP Saddam Hussein that he was unjustly ejected from the House last Friday by Speaker Bridget Ansett George has absolutely no merit. I'm glad you said that, Harry Potter, because you, your son, have absolutely no merit. Were you studying UNC business for when you're in PNM? Go and help them. Join Vasant, call him, or you put on 2 red jerseys each, give Colin Partap one, and go and help them. They need help because everything is in collapse. Nobody cares what you think. Harry Partap, everybody in the country saw and has seen the dictatorship of the blue hair lady, the abuse of the standing orders, the abuse of elected members of parliament. We have seen that. We don't need to hear from you, Harry. Harry, you're getting old. Go and relax yourself now and don't try to make no douglAR politics. Chief Secretary Persad Bissessa, ridiculous and disrespectful. First and foremost, for the newspaper to be referring to Ansel Dennis as Chief Secretary is ridiculous. There was an election in Tobago in January, 6-all. There is no Chief Secretary. He is Chief PNM Abuse the System Secretary if you want that. He is Chief Boldface. He is Chief Gallery himself with no real local standard. He is Chief No Mandate Secretary if you want to say that. But he first out of place, and then on top of that, you throwing him out on Kamala Ansel Dennis. Study Tracy coming for you now. Don't study Kamala, you know. Okay? Study about you and Jack, the Secretary of Finance. All your study, all your business. Don't involve me, you know. Because me half Tobagonian go jump out the pot. You understand? Ansel Dennis says he has described as ridiculous and disrespectful opposition leader Kamala Persad Bissessa's decision on Wednesday to tear up a copy of what she claimed was a gutted version of the Tobago Self-Government Bill. No, she didn't claim. It was a gutted version of the Tobago Self-Government Bill. And all Tobagonians who have read it know that 76% of Tobagonians know that it is nonsense that Rowley are now endorsed by you. That you all are trying to foist upon the people of Tobago that abject, total nonsense. And then, now you're going on front of the TV talking about you're tearing up Tobago people business. That is not Tobago people business. Tobago people consulted and gave recommendations for about 10 years. The PNM has taken all of Tobago's recommendations, ripped it out, cast it out and type up a piece of P&M Balize House concept for Tobago. So that was not Tobago people business. If it included Tobago people business, that the PDP, other members, Ho Choi Charles, other interest groups, former THA chief secretaries and secretaries of the THA and so on, public servants, former politicians in Tobago, those constitutional lawyers in Tobago, economists and so on, if it included or it was representative of those views of Tobago, Kamla Persad-Bissessar would have voted for it. She and her team would have supported it, given the constitutional majority necessary. So it was not Tobago's views. What she ripped up was Balize House down in town. The only building going up in town is, Tattoo. Balize House and Dwayne House. She ripped up Rowley's Balize House Trinidad nonsense that was laid in the parliament, just like I rip up your words, because you are not no chief secretary of Tobago. You're a clown. You have no shame. You an embarrassment to yourself and your people to call yourself chief secretary, 6 all for 7 months. Look, Robinson Regis invites amendments to the Tobago bill. Oh yes? After you lay your bill and abuse Parliament and make arrangements and agree with the chief whip of the UNC, and then breach it to allow the man from Mason Hall, who has disrespected Tobago more than any other prime minister in the history of Trinidad and Tobago, you now talking about you inviting amendment. And to Ansel Dennis, if your party now inviting amendments, then what Kamla rip up? See Ansel Dennis, I think you should, shh. You're sitting in our office, holding on by a thread, without any cojones. Cool yourself, little boy, all right? Little boy, cool yourself. Oh God, as we say, little boy, look who pop up. Faris a la mascara, a la tight pants, a la one shot, a la go in a room and dribble on 13 man and hug up and bray like a donkey. Faris a la recusal, a la rental, a la lost 31K straight. Faris a la crybaby. Faris a la come unhinged. Faris a la scream. Faris a la how much your wife getting brief from the OPM or from other state agency. Faris, we want to know. Faris. You still driving the 120Y? Oh no, you met your wife in a 120Y. Now you're driving Porsche, one Porsche per 2 years, boy. Oh God, I like all you. Yes, Al-Rawi says some lawyers may be trying to get rich off the state. AG, some lawyers weaponizing courts as a business venture. Let me ask you something, Faris Al-Adans. Having spent an inordinate amount of time in law school, which may mean that you should have either, if it couldn't go through your brain, by diffusion, you should have gotten some knowledge of the law just by the longevity of your stay without getting through. Just by being there, something should have just gone in your pores and kicked into your brain somehow. Faris, if there are attorneys who are turning FYAs and turning judicial reviews and turning cases, attacking or trying to show the weakness of legislation brought by you in the parliament and its application to the general population, if they are turning that into a business venture, which means at the end there's some money, doesn't it mean they win? I think for the state to pay the lawyers for them to make money, they had to win the case. For them to win the case, it means they were correct. For them to win the case and be correct, it means your law was stupid, dotish, dunce, and not equally applied. Not so, Faris? So really and truly what you should say is, by you being the most uneducated, dotish Attorney General in the history of Trinidad and Tobago, you are costing the taxpayers by your stupidity, lack of understanding, lack of knowledge, and the weakness of the laws that you are bringing to the Parliament. That's what you should say. Unfortunately, I wonder who tell you you're bright. I can understand some of them girl in your constituency office and thing, especially them who you're changing pampers and thing now. I can understand them saying you're a good looking fella, especially when you have on your makeup. You know, you look good. Yeah, man, I could see that. But I can't see them saying, Faris, oh my goodness, your intelligence is so sexy. Because you're a flipping dunce. As we talking about dance, from Faris, put up this image for me. What? Explain this to me, Faris. You see, you just no comment. Put up the Faris. QC Nelson receives payment before turning state witness. Faris, we need some questions answered. Faris, $10.2 million. Faris, explain this to me. Having been in law school so long, I expect you to explain. This man sued the government, which is you. You are the Attorney General and the legal counsel for the government, for fees owed approximately $10.2 million. This gentleman withdrew his case against you, the Attorney General and the government of Trinidad and Tobago. You, the Attorney General of Trinidad and Tobago, then settled the case with this man for the exact same amount that he was suing for, $10.2 million. I don't understand, Faris. When people make settlements, it normally is less than what they could get if they have to go through the whole long, arduous process. You normally say, well, all right, we don't want to go through that whole thing. So they will normally accept less, 7.5. So I don't have to go through the hassle of 5, 6, 7, 10 years in court, up and down, and costs and so on. How come, Faris, you settled a case with this man for the exact amount that he was suing for, and he had withdrawn his case? I don't understand, Faris. Please explain to me and to the country. Also, Faris, explain to me, there are many lawyers who are owed fees. There are many, many lawyers who are owed fees across the board. Government is always slow pay, late pay. How come this man getting money before others? I don't understand. Especially when we have heard this man later on pleaded guilty to being a naughty guy. So you say naughty, guilty. He plead guilty to being a naughty guy. So how does a naughty guy get in front of good guys and lasses, good girls, good lasses? How does a naughty guy get his money before good guys? Forrest, you got some explaining to do. Oh, you look good, Forrest. The mascara, the foundation, yes, boy. The ladies, them love you. That's good for you. Please explain, Forrest. And while you're explaining that, Forrest, explain this too. Run the video.
Trinidad and Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago. Based on the Freedom of Information Act, AG Faris Alwari was forced to disclose the legal fees paid by his office to external attorneys. Today we present to you Faris Alwari's multi-millionaire team. Coming in at number 10 is Mr. Keith Scotland, PNM MP for Port of Spain South at $1.5 million. At position 9 is Mr. Ian Benjamin at $2.2 million. In position 8 is Faris Alwari's millionaire friend, Mr. Roger Kewalse, coming in at $3.8 million. At position 7 is Prime Minister Keith Rowley's personal attorney, Mr. Michael Kwamina, at $3.9 million. Number 6 is Ms. Deborah Peake, who comes in at a whopping $8.1 million. At position 5 is Faris Alwari's man of business, Mr. Vincent Nelson, at $10.2 million. At position 4 is none other than Faris Alwari's tenant, Mr. Claude Denbo, who is currently renting from Faris Alwari's building at a shocking $10 million. In position 3 is one of Keith Rowley's attorneys, Mr. Reginald Amor, at $10.7 million. At number 2 is one of the P&M favorites, Mr. Fayad Hussein, at $16.9 million. And last but not least, coming at number 1 is Mr. Russell Martino with $17.8 million. A hearty congratulations to all the 10 hand-picked contestants and Faris Alwari's millionaire team.
Yes, Faris. So I have some questions about Nelson that I asked you before. You know, how come? What's that? And isn't that Nelson? Is that the same Nelson? He is not Nelson's West Indian reader. He is not Lord Nelson. Oh, Lord Soka. He is Nelson, a witness in a case that you were boasting about against some UNC. Is that the same Nelson Faris? When the media asks you questions, you just say no comment? And members of the media, that's it? No questions? None whatsoever? Very interesting. So Faris, all the time you're talking about ananananananananan. You spend the same amount of money as ananananananan, but you was telling me that anananananan was up at $1 billion and you was down at 400 million. But it looked like both of y'all was about the same. Boss? But that's not the point, you know. I notice how it have. They're not greedy, you know. It has certain P&M inside of there. They getting brief. They was getting brief. They get MP seat. They getting brief. There's the chairman of the airport authority. They getting brief. Them is the chairman of Heritage Petroleum. They know nothing about oil and gas. The only thing he know about gas is when he pops. But them does get big thing. But P&M now, man, them UNC thief. Oh God, Indian cut thief. Yes, no problem. But hear this one now. At number 7, there was a fella there. I don't know him. This fella. And so this fella, I have some questions for you, this fella. Right? But he named Kawal Singh or something. Kawal Singh, we already know. Or you could tell me about the Porsche and them you buy from Al Rawi, where is one wherever, right? The Porsche you buy. Okay. I'm happy for you. Al Rawi lay in Parliament that you get millions of dollars in fees. Okay. That's the Attorney General. He lay it in Parliament. Me no. Leave his picture up, eh? Let me first of all state, and let me be very clear. I have 2 daughters, and God forbid anything wrong with their health, I could sell my last Bartex drawers to help them, to provide for them, to make sure that the best doctors in the world could take care of them. So you, sir, first of all, I heard that your daughter was ill. I hope that she is better and has been seen about and taken care and is fantastic. I hope that. Put that aside. That's nothing, that has nothing to do with what I'm going to ask you. Let's be clear, because I know love for daughter, so I hope she's fantastic. But let me ask you something, sir. Did you create a GoFundMe page? Or did you announce to other groups or alert other groups or people that you were having a tragedy or an emergency in the family and that one of your children required surgery or medical assistance, that you shared this information, because health information is very private. So for an NGO, like a Muslim group or so, to create a GoFundMe page for the benefit of your child, did that occur? I'm asking you, sir. And I would like to know the answer. Was a GoFundMe page created to raise funds to assist your child in receiving health services, surgery, or medical treatment? I'm taking my time. I'm asking you. And on Friday, I will get the answer and I will deal with it very seriously. Because it's rather unfortunate with the new information that we have, where it is clear you are a millionaire. You have received, late in Parliament, millions of dollars in 2019 from Faris Al-Rawi and the PNM for briefs and work done. You are a millionaire. You're driving Porsche, purchased by GoFundMe for children, especially under the PNM, and I don't know how old your child is. Kamla's Children's Life Fund has been starved of funding. People have to do curry queue, pilau queue, soup queue, create GoFundMe pages to assist their children. If a millionaire, and you could take him down now because I would deal with him on Friday when I get the answers to the question, so you could take him down. And let's just talk in principle now. If a millionaire was to create or get a group or an NGO to create a GoFundMe page, when they have money, should have insurance, should have many different ways to pay for surgery or health care for their child. When they drive luxury vehicles, live in a lavish home that can be mortgaged, second mortgaged, loan could be taken, luxury cars could be sold, as most parents would do. Any real parent would not drive a luxury car when the child needs surgery. A real parent will walk where they're going, in a rubber slippers, in the same drawers, and the same jeans, and a rip-up shirt that looked like Rowley shirt that he come out to do press conference in. That's what a real father would do. When you create GoFundMe pages and you don't need, there's an opportunity cost of doing that. There's only a certain pool of money, especially in Trinidad and Tobago, that could be given for charitable purposes. And there are many people in need who don't have luxury vehicles, who have no vehicle, who don't get $4 million from the government for anything, who cannot even spell $1 million, who are broken, and their children need assistance, especially when the Children's Life Fund has been starved of funds. So if someone who is wealthy gets a group or NGO to create a charitable page to receive charity that is not really necessary, I'm asking y'all, what kind of human being is that? What is that? Think about it. What is that? On Friday, I will determine if that is somewhere wrong here. Because Lord, if it is, Lord help us all. I was coming out of my house and one of my dogs poo-poo on the concrete. They normally poo-poo in the grass. I wasn't paying attention, looking up at a kiskadee, and I stepped in something. And what I wiped off the butt. The bottom of my shoe is what that would be. I have not even, while I have information, my spirit, my soul, my being has not allowed me right now, because it's like a fresh wound. It has not allowed me to absorb that information, to believe that a rich, wealthy human being will have others or themselves create a charity, accept money from people who are less well off than them, who have a big heart to help children when they do not need the help, when they do not require the help, when they are millionaires. I ain't believe that yet. So you see me? Let me cool myself. Friday, douglAR Politics, 7:30 p.m. I will see if I have to look under my shoe for poo-poo. As we talk poo-poo, Rowley, you sent a pre-action protocol letter for David Nackett. Rowley, let me tell you something. You may not know David Nackett because, as usual, you are lazy, you don't research, and you don't take advice. So you must be just feel David Nackett now come in politics. So therefore, what? If he talk, you see like how you bully the little counselor who say something and so on, you send pre-action for them. Or you send pre-action for people you feel you could bully and so on. You must be in no David Nackett. Rowley, David Nackett is a man who went to jail in Lebanon because he fighting for black people that he ain't even know them black people. He ain't even know them African footballers. But he just find that was wrong how the Lebanese owners of the football team and officials of the Federation of Football was treating black man from Africa. David Nackett not from Africa. He from right there, he family from Levante. He is the nephew of the Hammer, the man who create Desperados. He from right there in St. Joseph. David Nackett don't know none of them African footballers. That man was willing and went in jail where they could have killed him. They beat him. I think it's Jack Warner sent some FIFA officials that saved he, because in Lebanon they don't play. That man fight for other people, put himself at risk, not no joke thing, not no Golden Grove, not no Trinity thing. In Lebanese jail for other people, put his life at risk and refused to back down. You send he a pre-action protocol when you know that you is the scum of the earth? David, when you know that you went in parliament and lie on email gate, when everything that come out your mouth is a lie, when we know about you, I dare you to continue. I dare you. I never going to say, I go in and be his bush lawyer too. Because Komena, you remember me? You and Stuart Young with Brian Manning always try to sue Anil when I was on sport, on TV, on radio, on newspaper. And what Anil do by bush lawyer self? What he brother, my brother, very good attorney, beat all you like a second pan. Beat all you so bad that a man who didn't put in a defense, who had already lost, unlost. Kwamena, leave me in peace, boy. Leave David Nackett. No, don't leave David Nackett. All you go at him. He frightened. I talked to David yesterday. If you see David, And then, oh gosh, Rowley coming for me. Oh gosh, I don't know what to do. Go ahead now. David Nackett, Fred, Rowley, Oracle, Oreo. All you have to be. let me move on, yes. Paris airport workers blocked terminal with to protest pay cut. In Paris, France, the management of the airport tried to say we're going to cut your pay to keep because of COVID, 80% revenue down and so on. The workers say fire burn that protest, all flights cancelled, delay. I think the management say all right. Hold up. But here, Caribbean Airlines, the Dwayne and them say cut 450, all you gone. I don't know. There's a lack of cojones in Trinidad. Right? So we monitoring. But one thing I could say, my drivers, my truck drivers, they under pressure, but they protest, they showed, and they make big Oracle Oreo change the position. He only wanted government projects. Why? Government projects to start construction. Why? Noel Garcia, you went by Massey stores with a big bag recently? Or the bag empty? Or you had to go back by Massey? Well, I go check it by Massey stores now while they're filling up the bag now. You know the bag? Remember last time I thought I see Rowley name on it. Remember that? Oh, that is what going on? Run the video with my truckers. Well done, my truckers. Well done. Yes, and immediately they back out and they open all construction. Well done, my people. We have to start a fight somewhere. This overall abuse of every sector cannot continue. I go deal with Roger Friday. I hear Roger saying, he threatening the government. No more retrenchment. Roger, hush now, boy. They done bust all your workers throw down petrol train. Nothing for you. You still talking? Boy, Roger, go and eat that palori, a big fat one, stick it in your mouth and suck it, don't you? They all sing. 212 countries are using Sinopharm. They all sing, really? They all sing, not only are you the biggest dunce to ever hold the portfolio of Minister of Health, I don't know what word to define you or to describe you again. Minister, Trinidad and Tobago among 212 countries using Sinopharm and AstraZeneca vaccines. Okay. Well, boy, Sinopharm, I have the list here, no? The list from the WHO, not the WHO, the WHO. Look at there, 56 countries using Sinopharm. 56 countries using Sinopharm. 212? Why do they like to make up things so? And furthermore, AstraZeneca, they have different types of AstraZeneca. There's the Covishield. And talking about the Covishield, Abdul Richards here tell me about the 500 Covishield vaccine that come in to nip deck. You and Romano, the football committee man, normalization that normalized cocktail for we, but them still there. What about that? Furthermore, you have the information, they all sing. There are not 212 sovereign nations in the world. There are 195, and if you include other sorts of countries that are connected in the Olympics, for example, those that are represented, those that have representatives, there are 207. Then you have some special Luxembourg and those. Look at it there. They have 195. There are 195 in the world today. This total comprises 193 countries that are member states of the United Nations and 2 countries that are non-member observer states, the Holy See and the State of Palestine. All right? So cool yourself with the 212. Even the Olympics are 207 when they stretch it and they divide it and they put on different uniform and so on. Okay? delicing, I mean dealsing, what happened there, boy? A Freudian slip, you call that. Education minister, man. Minister bundles. Hey, all she take off the bundles. My girl take off the bundles. What happened? The douglAR put you under pressure. You come out without bundles. Very nice. That's very good. But we still have the pictures of all the bundles. But I'm glad to make a positive change in your life. Minister of Education, friend of Narcisscope, the head of the EBC. You said the education minister, laptops more than just learning device. Let me read that again. There's a PNM minister. She's the PNM Rowley Minister of Education. All you run the video, let me hear she and Rowley Nancy if they agree. Do they agree? Do they disagree? Because the last time I checked, the PNM and Rowley said, Kamla laptop, Gopi Singh laptop, Fazal Karim laptop, nonsense, corruption, ridiculous, unnecessary. We taking on the laptop, we stopping laptop, we don't need laptop, waste of resources, waste of money. That's what Rowley said. Why you giving duncy head children laptop? Remember Rowley? But he children, well, the ones on the inside, them have laptop. The ones on the outside must be the duncy head one. The outside children didn't get no laptop. But the inside one had laptop. Them is doctor, them is artist, them, oh good, them have laptop. But let me see. This is a PNM Minister of Education, run she.
Duncy head first former. Duncy head first former.
Addressing the information gap is important to fighting poverty. We must close that gap. The government will provide a laptop to each secondary school student this month. This will ensure that our children can compete in a world where knowledge is currency.
Duncy head first former. Mr. Speaker, with respect to the question of the laptops, the provision of laptops to entry-level students is downright foolhardy. It is logistically burdensome on students and parents. It puts some students at risk. It is overly expensive. Mr. Speaker, given that a not insignificant proportion of our youngsters are challenged to score well in basic reading, a computer in some of those hands could be an unintended distraction. What is the purpose of providing these computers? When the whole school gets laptop, Mr. Speaker, on this explanation, Mr. Speaker, the Minister of Education has a laptop for you. He thinks you're a duncy head first former. In the school program, laptops, contributing nothing to the children's education and was disrupting the school program. And what your government did, we stopped the contractual arrangements. We did not take away laptops from children. We did not take away laptops from children. The expert on education at the university did an assessment of the laptop program and concluded by documentation that this multi-hundreds of millions of dollars that they were spending on laptops were largely wasted, contributing nothing to the children's education and were disrupting the school program.
When we speak about the optimization of our school learning management system, when we speak about the procurement of e-books, when we speak about dealing with the learning loss in math and grammar through the provision of a service online, when we speak about digitizing all of our school records, we speak about that not in the far distance, we speak about it now. And as we speak about that, to give our children the chance to survive in this world, in this education world, they must have a device.
Them boys doing some work there, all you could hear it. They don't take nothing. Construction start back all over the place. So don't study that. But study what is going on there. What is this lady saying? This lady, she didn't hear she prime minister. Now you the people have to understand, this is not a funny joke. For 6 years, your children have been denied the Kamla laptop program. Your children have been denied the ability to learn. Your children in a pandemic have had no devices. Your children have been thwarted for years by the PNM. And now this Minister of Education under the PNM, after 6 years of sending the country and the country's future generations backward, comes out now to say Kamala was right, Kamala's program was great, Kamala was above and beyond her time, Kamala was putting our children ready for the future, Kamala was ensuring that our children will survive, Kamala was brilliant, Kamala was understanding, Kamala was investing in future generations. That's what she's saying. So she is saying to Rowley, her Prime Minister, hush your mouth, you're talking nonsense, you are not understanding, you know nothing about education, you suffer the children, you took it back, and we can do nothing. We will pause right there, because these fellas are annoying me with all that work. We will continue just now. The sound of silence. So we didn't really take a break, but ooh, that was loud. I hope you all were hearing properly. No big thing. My mouth loud, that is some positives and benefits of having a big mouth. You could talk over man cutting steel. So Rowley attack Kamala, come into power, take your laptops from your children, talk a bag of nonsense, suffer children, carry our education system backward. And now Minister Bundles, who take out she bundles because the douglAR mentioned she bundles. And yes, lady, it looks better. That's better. Stay natural. You understand? Go with that. Them bundles, oh God. Them bundles look like you might topple over like Roger and lean to the left. But on top of that, let me do some PNM mathematics for you. Not like Rowley, 180,000. Half of that is 140,000. But on page 7 of The Guardian, the minister, that same minister Bundles, without bundles, said there were 63,369 students without digital access at the start of the pandemic. So last year, January, February, there were 63,369 students without access to devices, laptop, tablets, and so on. Right? Early 2020. She said, during the period, that pandemic period, corporate Trinidad and Tobago has donated 22,000 devices. The government, the PNM government, in 17 months, knowing that 63,369 children did not have access to education, do you know what they did in all that time? They moved with alacrity to go and get devices for our children because they knew that missing out on education for a moment could impact their lives for generations to come and their future earnings. Do you know what the PNM caring government did? In 17 months, they procured 4,000 devices. In 17 months, they procured 4,000 devices. So the private sector got 22,000 and the government got 4,000. There was a deficit of 63,369. Therefore, there are still, after 17 months of a pandemic, 37,369 children without access to education. Left foot, right foot. Brilliant, amazing. Care. Here, Rowley. CARICOM stronger now against COVID-19. I am going to read this to you and I'm going to try and keep a straight face. Rowley is no longer CARICOM chair. And just to let you all know, some people thought like it's because it's Rowley, the Prime Minister's got together and vote he to lead. No. It's just a rotation. Okay? The countries in the CARICOM, we go, everybody take a turn. So don't get excited. If it had any merit, Rowley would have never reached nowhere. But listen to this man. He was handing over the chair to to Gaston Johnson, right? Prime Minister Antigua Barbuda. Listen to Keith Christopher Rowley. And I am telling you all, I'm going to try to keep my face straight. Through it all, we have rallied, and we now stand on somewhat fallow ground as a result of the coordination and collaboration of our member states, associate members, and our institutions. Our stance on equitable vaccine access, which we articulated early in January, anchored our region's actions and continues to resonate globally, especially among developing countries. This clarion call, as well as strategic engagement and advocacy with high-level office holders in key capitals and international institutions, has resulted in offers of vaccines from various channels. This has put the region, he said, closer to our goal to inoculate as many of our citizens as possible, to ensure that we are protected from developing mutations of the virus and to enable I try. I nearly make it. Oh God, I nearly make it, man. I had one more sentence ago. Mutations of the virus, and to enable us to return safely and sooner to bolstering life. This man needs help. The man, all your help, help. Rowley needs help. The man is pathological. The man is speaking like his 6 months at CARICOM chair. He unified, and he took a unified fight for vaccines, and he got vaccines, and our countries are better off, and we're inoculated. And he didn't attack Guyana and Barbados and criticize Haiti and compare us to Haiti. He didn't do none of that. He was just brilliant and beautiful. And it is not true that Trinidad and Tobago is less than 10% double dose inoculated, and we on shutdown, lockdown, blockdown, and dead down. That we in state of emergency, all the businesses shutting down. People are no work. We greedy for hamper. None of that happened. None of it happened at all. What is that you're putting up there? Leave what? Akasi. Leave it? Yeah. Or don't bother with it? Alright, we go deal with that Friday. That's a man write a thing there. Me know if he feel I have binoculars. But Rowley, I really want to make a clarion call to all psychologists, therapists, psychiatrists, counselors, social workers, coaches who have a little portion of their qualification in psychology, child psychologists, adult psychologists, granny psychologists, psychologists for help, psychologists to harm. I call in for electric shock treatment. Anything, I'm calling a clarion call. All your help, Rowley. That can't be normal. No, man. It's not even funny. I have to stop laughing. This cannot be real. This cannot be right. All in Guyana they laughing, all in Barbados they laughing, all in Haiti they laughing, all in Yemen them laughing. New CARICOM chair. The new CARICOM chair. Out goes the old CARICOM laughing stock. In comes a CARICOM chair. Here talk one time. Gaston Brown, new CARICOM chair. Addressing the 42nd regular meeting of CARICOM leaders, he said, "It is with alarm and grave concern that I have seen the reports emanating from our member state of Haiti. I am aware that we have made many overtures to provide good offices to help resolve the seemingly intractable political issues that have plagued the country of Haiti. More recently, the horrific level of violence has caused significant loss of life, has made thousands flee their homes for safety. This is an untenable situation in one of our member states, and we as CARICOM must redouble our efforts to bring a resolution that allows some level of normality to return to Haiti. That's a CARICOM. The seat's still cold. The man now sit down. The man even rub his elbow on the table and start to make sense. Start to show heart and soul, care, consideration for Haiti. An impoverished nation, one of the poorest nations on the planet, trying to get CARICOM together to aid Haiti, to assist them politically, sending a message that we are our brother's keeper and we must unite to help one another, especially when they're most in need. Isn't that stark contrast from the man who was heating up the chair by only pupsing on it before? Rowley. Remember Rowley not only attacked all the CARICOM partners and Guyana and Barbados, but he tried to compare us, Trinidad and Tobago, $23 billion Heritage and Stabilization Fund in 16 months of a pandemic, to Haiti, one of the poorest nations in the world, to try and make himself and his policy look like he did something good. He tried to bring down Haiti to uplift himself. And as soon as the man exit the stage left, our next man come in and say, listen, we have to work to help our brothers most in need. We must uplift Haiti. Do you all see the stark contrast? That's what you all vote. That's not no UNC thing, you know, that CARICOM thing. When we go ahead, we move in. I see the importance of outdoor exercise by Dr. Joel David Tilak Singh. Outdoor exercise. What is this? But no, Rowley open laundromat, because probably the heat from the dryer does make you feel like you're outside in the sun. And Rowley, look at laundromat, look at the lines to do laundry, boy. He say, yeah, man, all you want to eat food, all you want to walk, all you want to think, nah, man, go and wash all your clothes, right? Go and wash all your clothes. One man in a laundromat. To the Express newspaper says, answer the public's questions. This is very interesting. Tuesday, 6 July 2021. People have a lot of questions, both about COVID-19 and the vaccine, that must be addressed if Trinidad and Tobago is to achieve the level of vaccine acceptance necessary for a safe reopening. The ministry's thrice weekly news conferences are no substitute for a comprehensive communication strategy designed around the public's information needs. As a media house, we encounter many people who have valid medical questions about the COVID-19 vaccine, but they have no one to turn to. Express, you are confusing me. You know. Are you a daily newspaper? Is your job investigative journalism? Is your job to provide the nation with information? You are doing an editorial to tell the people that you attend, your news reporters attend their thrice weekly press conferences. You are saying people are coming to you to ask you valid questions. Then why the hell all you ask the question? Why all you ask the question? And when you ask the question and the bully man don't want to answer, why you ask it again? Why you don't hound him down? Why you run? Why you quiet? Why you don't print? What are you talking about, Express? That is your work. You come to write an editorial, ask the questions. People have valid questions, ask them. But then you write a piece to attack Kamla Persad-Bissessar, because Kamla Persad-Bissessar said the doctors that are being hoisted amongst the population, who have made political statements, who have gone their way, out of their way to move away from science, to adhere or to align themselves carefully with Keith Christopher Rowley's ludicrous pathological positions, such as the spike didn't come from Easter, it come from Vigil. Such as, I get COVID, I had sneezing, and I had runny nose. But it's not 14 days, so I don't have to go back all days, just 2 days. And then I don't have to take no vaccine for 6 months because I had COVID. Nowhere else in the world they have a 6-month moratorium. They have a 6-month waiting period after you get COVID to take vaccine. You know? Over 1 billion people globally have received vaccine. At least 80% of them would have had COVID. They didn't have to wait no 6 months. They said that they told them that there was a small spike, but the people didn't take them on. You ain't care about that. You ain't ask. You have an ex-doctor who come out with fancy mask every day and Rowley and she only kiki. Next thing she on a ERHA board. She getting a stipend on a NIPDEC PNM board. She on a PNM Trinidad and Tobago Bureau of Standards board. But you all don't find that correct. They're giving us false information. Davlin Thomas talking nonsense. The doctors don't know what to say, who to say, and when to say. They're telling us that the Brazilian variant at first didn't come from no Venezuelan migrant. Because I asking all about how all you swab illegal immigrants. You can't find the whole body, but you swab the nose hole. That was Dr. Hines. I asking if Dr. Hines was the recipient of Joe Newell's scholarship fund in 2003 to 5 around there. All you ain't care. We are hearing nonsense from these so-called doctors, and we are dying, we are failing, we are worst in the world, worst in vaccination, worst in death rate, worst in infections, worst in economy, worst in jobs, worst in everything, the whole world moving, and we on lockdown, shut down, and broke down. But you Express attacking Kamala for saying that these people who have run us into the ground, into COVID chaos and calamity must go, and let others, brighter, more intelligent people change the script. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over. Over 800 citizens have died, Express. You say nothing, right? Parasram. No evidence of Delta in TNT. This is on top of Dr. Miriam Abdul, PNM Stipend Richards, saying the same thing. Last show I said, but what? I waiting to see a little science, some kind of statistics, some kind of numbers for you all to tell me whether it's full sampling, random sampling, who we test, how we test. I didn't get that from Miriam Abdul, PNM Stipend Richards. So I say, okay, let me get it from Sweet Boy Parasram. Last year, all they thought he was sweet, good looking. Oh, God, yes. All you find he's so cute now because dunce does make cute look ugly. Here, Parasram. Addressing questions during the ministry's virtual COVID-19 news conference, Dr. Parasram said that gene sequencing of the local test samples of the virus are being done by the University of the West Indies under Professor of Molecular Genetics and so on. Okay, they are being done. So I'm waiting now to hear, in the last 2 weeks, we have taken 8,000 samples, 2,000 were positive. Of the 2,000, we took a random sample of 300 and we sent them to UE for testing for the Delta variant, and all 300 came back negative. And you would want to hear something, sir? I sure he said it. Let me continue. He had been asked whether the ministry had been notified, right? Parasram said, the ministry has so far not received any sequencing that was positive for the Delta variant. He then went on to other topics. Say, not receive. Why did you not receive? Because you have done none? Or that you did 2 and both were negative? Or you did 20,000 and all were negative? What? An Express? This is your article. Your reporters, you do an editorial saying we need answers. And you all don't ask these questions? What we just supposed to say? Okay, thank you, Dr. Parasram. Okay, sweet boy. Oh, God, you're cute. Oh, yes, we didn't, but you cute. At least while I die, I look at a good-looking guy on TV. Oh, gosh, yes, that's what we're supposed to do. Or a public official supposed to do their job. And they're supposed to be asked questions. And they're supposed to stick to science, and they're not supposed to be licking a big Oracle Oreo K-Packs every day and talking nonsense and twisting science. Here the next one. COVID-19 surges across Africa, right? Okay. A variant wreaking havoc. Let's go and see what this variant is. This is Express page 18 in the same paper. Driven by the Delta variant, a new wave of COVID-19 is sweeping across the African continent, where new cases, hospital admissions, and deaths are increasing. The speed and scale of Africa's third wave is like nothing we've seen before, says Dr. Matishidioso Moeti, the World Health Organization Regional Director for Africa. South Africa is leading the new surge, where case numbers are doubling. It is the Delta variant. Africa under pressure. Delta variant. Rowley boasting that we getting vaccine from Africa. So while we African brother and them dead in and under pressure, we taking vaccine from Africa. Why we didn't get some from the 500 million from USA? USA under them releasing, them reducing restriction. You could party at a nightclub, you could fet, no mask, them going good, them a basketball, golf, car racing, all kind of thing going on. Football, Gold Cup, USA good. We ain't get no vaccine from the 500 million that the USA have. We going to suffer black people in Africa that dead in. That is Rowley. But Rowley say, the Delta variant might be here. Really? Science? Doctor of Stones? Bring in Dr. Stones. Let me listen to this disheveled Dr. Stones of Laundromat, because like Sharon, I want to iron he flipping shot. Bring him.
The exact date in July, we expect, is Monday 17th. The Saturday 17th of July, that's when we expect to go back to scheduled services, open our borders to those categories of people. So this is a major development at a time when we also are keeping our eyes on this whole question of the Delta virus, which is beginning to appear in the United States, has not been identified in our country just yet, is very popular. 85% in the UK, appears to be very popular in Africa, and we still have the P1 virus out of South America into the Caribbean from there.
You see how they start to lie from in front? We have been telling you and putting the country on notice that the Indian variant had arrived in Brazil 3 weeks ago, that it was noticed and announced by Maduro 16 days ago, that we have porous borders and we have a tailboat, and that Indian Delta variant will make its way here because nothing has been done, no proactive decisions, nothing is different. The Coast Guard is the same, the border, the radar is the same, that dead people on a boat could float past. No army camps have been set up in the Southwest Peninsula, no vehicles with floodlighting to patrol during the night, no extra police roadblocks down there, nothing to stop illegal immigrants. The only thing that may have stopped it right now is that messages from here to Venezuela say, don't come here. It had no work. Everybody suffering, everybody hungry. So same thing, at least over there, all they're talking Spanish. But they come to start to say that the Delta variant will arrive through the repatriation of citizens. Really? No variant has hit community spread through the repatriation process that is designed and dictated by PAHO, WHO, or Ministry of Health, all health agencies globally. That when you come in with your testing, especially if you're vaccinated and double dose vaccinated, you come in your quarantine, you stay there, you spend time, you test, and you test 2, 3, 4 times, and then you are released into the population. No spread has come from that. Not one spread. All of our variants and our spread and the things that are killing us come through the porous borders. But them start to create a narrative already that they go in and open the borders and Delta will come and we go dead. They're telling you from in front, we are incompetent and you will dead. And that's the government we have. Are you paying attention? And then you have people telling us, no Delta here. They can't tell us how much they test, random test all, what's the sequencing, what's the sample, what they take, why they take, when it reach. They're just telling me that they just say no Delta. But then look, Mr. Dishevel now, hear what he say, what she, and all you tell me, if all you could believe anything these people say, run it.
That's where the world is right now with that Delta virus. And we need to be aware of that. We are not saying that we can lock the border down and it doesn't come here. The virus is with us in all its forms. That's how we have to look at it. Because until we get a confirmation that somebody has the Delta, we don't know that it's not here until it is confirmed. It might very well be here, but we haven't picked it up yet. And the first time we'll know is when the first person is picked up. So let us be alert to the existence of it around. That's why we're being strict.
That's why you're being strict with the porous borders. You disgusting human being. You have people's lives in danger. There's no diesel, no Coast Guard, no radar. Dead boat float past me. Pirate robbing people in the Gulf of Paria. No helicopter, no air guard, no van, no army base. Nothing down in the Southwest Peninsula. We are at risk because of your incompetence. And then on top of that, no vaccine. Here it is. Vaccine supplies run out. Several people who turned up yesterday at the University of Trinidad and Tobago University of Trinidad and Tobago Chaguanas campus on Monroe Road for the second dose of AstraZeneca vaccine were turned away as there were no vaccines in Trinidad and Tobago. No vaccines. But they're talking about open border, all kind of thing, and we #1 in the world, and COVID, the whole world excited and moving. But here's sweet boy, CMO, Pasham. Too early to see impact of vaccination program. What vaccination program? We have not even reached 10% double dose. We need to hit 70%. We need about 1 million plus. You have 150,000 illegal immigrants. You trying to see some program? What we have, you can't even call it a program. People can't even get vaccine. Hear him. I haven't seen the full impact of the vaccination kicking in. How it go kick in? How you go see an impact, Parashram? He said, based on the trajectory of the curve. What curve? We have no curve. We have not even reached 10%. To say 10% in a population, you cannot measure any sort of impact whatsoever. Where will you come out from? He said, that we saw, but it is a little early, serious. Most people start to see some sort of effect when you get 20% vaccinated. So therefore, hush your mouth for another 10% now. So hush your mouth. Just say we do nothing. We have no program. We have not. Just say that. Stop playing games. The Rowley, here, let me tell you something. This is the Rowley program for COVID-19 war on pandemic. Remember Boris Johnson, he eased up all the things and so on. He have a 5-point plan to move forward starting in about a week, right? Around July 12th or so, Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Here the Rowley 5-point plan for Trinidad and Tobago citizens going forward to live with COVID, because that's the plan for the UK, right? They're living with the COVID, they're moving forward. Here Rowley plan for we. Keep all our ass home, shatter the economy, drain the treasury and the HSF. When that done, let the boys and them borrow and thief. No vaccine, porous borders, high death rate, new variants equal more time for the Rowley to implement his 5-point plan. That's the plan we have. And that's why Kamala will have to deal with him. And she dealt with him last night on the virtual. Kamala, blaze him, run it.
Thank you all very much. Good evening to all our loving and very committed and dedicated UNC supporters. I think today we can spare thought and a prayer for our CARICOM and Caribbean brothers and sisters who were severely impacted by the storm Elsa. So to them we send our greetings, and of course we commiserate with them because of the effects of the storm. Today, too, I want to move off a bit from the way we normally speak to you, and I want to deal with what I see as a very dangerous trend developing, where people are being attacked because they dare to ask questions or because they dare to have differences of opinions. And the tools that are being used are several. One, virtue signaling. What is virtue signaling? Virtue signaling is the action or practice of publicly expressing opinions or sentiments intended to demonstrate one's own good character or the moral correctness of one's own position on a particular issue. And it's done to shame others because the others may have a different opinion. A second tool that is being used is what is known as fake outrage. Fake outrage is usually generated as a way of trying to create a controversy for the purpose of political smearing. The fake outrage individuals can be easily identified because they refuse to engage in logical debate or issues because they either are incapable of doing so or they are purposely doing it to stir up a controversy, to stir the pot. Fake outrage. Instead, what do? They regurgitate talking points in an attempt to appear educated on a topic when they are not so educated. The third tool that is being used in this dangerous trend that we're observing is known as cancel culture. Cancel culture is anonymous, fueled by a mob mentality, and intensely polarizing. In this cancel culture, you say, I am right and you are wrong. It teaches us that if someone does something or champions someone or something that we may not like or agree with, then the cancel culture people step in and say we must stop supporting these people. For them, there are no gray areas. They're canceled. You just cancel out people. They're finished. And their opinion must never be allowed again. A society that encourages people to be quick to cancel and reluctant to forgive is a dangerous one. A fourth tool is hyper-offended victim mentality. Hyper-offended victim mentality. This is used whenever a person cannot argue a point using cogent and logical points. Instead, they immediately get offended and accuse the persons with different opinions of some false ism, one ism or another. These behaviors, these four that I mentioned, to quash dissent, to quash free thinking and opinions, have been used many times before, but they are dangerous to democratic values and freedoms, very dangerous. Let's take two examples in real life of these types of behavior. We saw this in Germany, Hitler's Germany, with the brown shirts and the black shirts. Hitler relied on two criminal organizations to realize his diabolical goals. First, he used the brown shirts of the SS stormtroopers to attain power via strong-arm street politics and propaganda. And then he used the black shirts of the highly feared SS to transform Germany into an occult-based police state. And he carried out the most heinous crime of the 20th century, the Holocaust. But we don't have to go so as far as Germany. We can just look next door to our CARICOM neighbor, Guyana. We can take lessons from Guyana. When Forbes Burnham rigged elections, when he sent in the army to collect and count ballot boxes, when he killed protesters, when he killed Walter Rodney and many more, CARICOM said nothing. The United States said nothing. The United Nations said nothing. The media said nothing. And they all did nothing. The people of Guyana have had to struggle long and hard, and it was indeed very difficult for them. So in our own country here now, right-thinking citizens must be alert to use of cries of sedition and patriotism. Anytime we speak, a UNC person speaks, we are unpatriotic. They label you unpatriotic. Then you want to arrest people for this really offensive crime of sedition that has been there from way back when, through the colonial powers that be, to really suppress people, to suppress people raising their voices, to suppress people from having different opinions. That's what that was used for. And this government has brought it back and is indeed using it. So what does all this mean? It means we must stand up for our rights. You must stand up for your rights. You must stand up and express your opinion. Do not be coward. Do not be shamed. Do not be afraid. We have to stand up for our rights. And why is it that we must fight? We must fight. UNC people, I'm saying to you, and all right-thinking people in this country, you have to fight. You know, some people tell me that I should not make certain statements, that I should be statesmanlike and kind and gentle because, Kamala, you're a nice person and so on. Of course I'm a nice person. But there comes a time when we all have to stand up for what is right. And to say we disagree with their opinion, we have a different opinion, we must do it because no one else is going to do it for us. So act statesmanlike, they tell me. Deal only with policy and plans and development and so on. Don't bother with any old talk and don't answer the insults. But I'm saying no. You're asking me, some of you, to let the vile insults thrown at me, thrown at the rank and file of our great party, the UNC. You say, let us pass. Come and speak only about policy and plans and facts and figures. Well, you know, I've been there and done that. I did that. I would love to do that. But I also have, as your leader, a responsibility to protect the UNC from the desperate attacks of the PNM. I will always defend our UNC supporters. I have come to recognize a very hard reality, that we live in a society without a level playing field. Although, thank God, there are still some fair institutions, some fair commentators and reporters, some of them are still there. But this government, the rowdy PNM, and some lazy political opportunists, and the biased, fake outrage mob have made civilized debate near impossible in our country. It is not possible to present two opposing sides of an argument rationally and let people make their own decision in quiet, logical contemplation. The relentless partisanship, the noise, the attacks against us, and the slanted playing field make this simply not an option. It's a slanted playing field, it's not a level playing field, and that is the uphill battle, upstream paddling that the UNC has to do. The PNL will go down the river. They're given a blight, they're given a pass, they're going downstream, merrily on their way. But the UNC has to go upstream. We are constantly in battle, and we constantly have to fight against these fake outrage people, cancer cultured people, and all the others. Let's look at it. I'm saying it is near impossible to do the kind of debate that we used to do. We had, you know, whatever Mr. Manning may have been, he was a gentleman. And in the parliament, you know, we conducted the parliamentary business in a certain way, which you don't see now. You don't see it now. Yes, we will have our conflicts, we'll have differences of opinion, but what do we see now? Let's look at it rational. It is not possible to present two opposing sides of an argument rationally. Let people then make their own decision, as I say, quiet, logical contemplation. It's not possible. It's near impossible. In the parliament, the speaker shuts the opposition down, while the government side campaigns and hurls the most abusive insults at us against all parliamentary decency. And then you tell me, Kamala, don't answer. I will stand up and I will defend the UNC. I will defend our supporters. You know, supporters have asked me, why don't we take the speaker to court? Well, that's not an option. The court has no jurisdiction with respect to the speaker. It's not an option. They say, well, why don't you remove the speaker? It's not an option. You can only do it with the support of the other side. We can't do that. So people say, well, why you all let her brutalize you? Why you let her shut you down? Well, we follow the parliamentary practice and procedure. And now it is where I think they've really stepped over the line in managing the proceedings of the parliament. We have filed a motion of no confidence in the speaker for the manner in which she has been conducting the parliament. And then you say, Kamala, well, why are you filing that? You're going to lose it because in the parliament they have the majority. Some of our own supporters, you know, they're concerned. But look, understand it this way. That is the only tool we have. We can't go to court about it. We can't move her. But what we can do under the standing order is a motion of no confidence. And when such a motion, when we bring it in the parliament, we can expose what we see as breaches of the parliamentary procedure and rules. And therefore, persons who may not understand fully Because when you get little clips of the parliament, you probably don't look at the channel and you really don't understand what is happening in there. At least we could explain in full what we see as breaches of the parliamentary practice and procedure. And that's why we bring these motions of no confidence. Even when we bring it against ministers, again, it's to expose their weaknesses, expose where they have failed to account. That's what the parliament affords us. It's a tool, it's a weapon, it's a vehicle that we are afforded through the parliamentary proceedings. So, some elements in the media as well, they carry these vulgar responses, incomplete responses of the government. They will carry it. They will never say what was a question asked. They don't carry questions that we asked, and we have filed hundreds of questions. What they'll do is pick up a snippet, a piece out of the government's responses, and many of them, when they respond, they don't really answer the question. Instead, they end up wanting really, to make themselves appear, the virtually moral persons, that they are always right. Everything they do is perfect. But we don't live in a perfect world. And that's why our system of governance is adversarial. So you get both sides of any sheet of paper, both sides of any proceedings that are ongoing. So in the media, some of them, they carry the incomplete responses of the government and parliament. They carry it as legitimate news, as if it is, because it's in black and white, it is legitimate news. They make no commentary, no criticism. But if I say something or UNC says it, we are knocked down for what we say. Viewers would never know the government's weaknesses from the way the proceedings are edited. Lies become believed as truth, and the truth is buried. What happens outside of the parliament now? In platforms and media briefings and elsewhere, Rowley can say the nastiest and most vulgar things about me personally, about UNC supporters and others in our party in general. And the political opportunists within and outside the UNC, they say nothing. No comment. When you have a prime minister using, sometimes almost on the point of obscene language, nobody gets outraged about that. For instance, when the opposition recently asked Rowley in Parliament whether he took the Pfizer vaccine, he went off in a tirade, he went off in a rant and accusing me of having COVID, which I never did, and I thank God for that. I never did. I still don't. He took that, he went off on that rant, insulting anyone and everyone he could, denigrating anyone and everyone. They don't say anything wrong with that. The fake outrage people don't say anything wrong with that. Instead of reporting that Rowley refused to answer the question, he was asked on more than one occasion. He refused to answer whether he took the Pfizer vaccine. Some in the media, the only thing we were interested in was whether I had the COVID or didn't have the COVID. There was no indication I ever had. I've told you that didn't happen, but they ran that fake narrative. When that narrative coming out of there should have been that the Prime Minister refused on numerous occasions to answer a simple yes or no question, and went off in a tirade and in a rant. These were merely reported, no commentary or condemnation. In sharp contrast to this, if the UNC fights back, political opportunists, the fake mob I talk about, the fake outrage mob, the virtue signalers, they get a meltdown. They have a meltdown, back and forth, emailing and texting each other. It is very concerning, the fear and intimidation that our society has bred into some citizens. It seems that some prefer to grovel, pretend, be bullied, to move up in politics, to move up in life, to move up in society, instead of working hard and fighting for it. I pray they will grow out of it. In today's world, Facebook likes seem to have become a drug for many citizens. They are prepared to lie down and take any insult or abuse so as not to offend any potential Facebook friend. They crave the validation of a Facebook or Twitter like, as if it were some kind of addiction. What kind of ludicrous society is being created? When guess what is really the headline news? Forklifts, Juve, Brownie the dog, the head of a UNC press release. These have become issues. When so many are dying, so many are suffering, so many are sick, what is it that some spend their time doing on Brownie the dog? Some fella driving a forklift. I mean, that's the headline. Breaking news. That's what people, some people I say. What about the hundreds that are dying unnecessarily? What about the attempts to avoid any accountability or transparency in the spending of our monies, taxpayers' money, to the HSF and all other taxes collected by this government? What about suffering of hundreds of thousands of people who cannot earn an income, who cannot feed their families, who cannot pay their bills, who cannot pay their rent? What about all those who have lost their jobs, lost all their savings? What about them? I call upon the government again, please open back the country. You've opened up on Saturday laundromats. I think you really meant laundries, but we leave that as a laundromat or laundry. You open these. What's the difference? What's so wrong that you can go to the laundry or the laundromat for your washing, but you can't go and buy some bacon shark? You can't buy some doubles. You can't go to buy a roti or a pizza. You can't buy a meal. What is wrong with opening back the fast food business and the food business as a whole? What is wrong about opening up the creative arts sector? What is wrong? You see it fit. Which science did you use to say people could go to laundromats and they wouldn't contract COVID? What is the science that you're using? You are not data-driven. There's no science behind keeping one place locked down, but opening a laundry. Opening laundries. There's no sense, in my respectful view, in the decisions that are being made. And you know, when we talk about all of this, we have asked these questions all the time. Why are some of these same people who are so passionately angry about other issues, why are these same people not as angry about the fact so many have died, so many are dying, so many are losing their businesses, losing their homes? If you check the foreclosures from the banks, so many people cannot pay their mortgages. People are being evicted, they can't pay rent, they can't buy food. Where is the outrage about that? Those are real issues impacting on the lives of people in this land. I wonder about the values of some of our critics. They take great umbrage, that's a big word, it means they take great outrage against any UNC comment, but they see nothing wrong with the gross, insulting, degrading language of Rowley, the Prime Minister. Nothing wrong with that. But it's not just a matter of language. Is language what is most important? If so, then Keith Rowley should be your target. In the past, I admit I did not fight against this. And in the last elections, we lost by only 2,600 votes in 2 seats. We captured the majority of votes in Trinidad. We got more votes here. We still registered as losing the election. I was advised not to respond to the PNM's fake outrage then. And I did not respond. I was advised not to do that. I was advised that people didn't care about non-issues such as these, that all they cared about was our policy for development of the country, and we had a comprehensive plan for the development of our country, a comprehensive plan for the way forward. Well, that advice then, not to take on the PNM for their attacking us, was wrong. I do not intend to continue to just deal in facts and figures. We have to present those, yes, we have to present plans for development, but we have to answer them when they step out of line. We have to fight, we must fight back, because no one else is going to do it for us. You know, the PNM didn't even have a manifesto. Our own members, some joined their fake roadmap team, you all remember that? They joined the fake roadmap team of the PNM. They campaigned with them in the marginal seats to validate the farce that was going down. They took these fake outrage issues and turned the whole election around to be about them, rather than plans for our country's development. That is the reality. In the end, I do think there is a conflict between some of our UNC supporters and some of the so-called PIP, Party in Power persons. I say so-called Party in Power persons because they will give out contracts, who will be in government, that's what they care about. They will side with whoever they think will win. They don't believe in anything strongly enough besides their own benefits. They don't stand for anything. They just want to be on the side of the winners to get the spoils. They are also cowards who are afraid of criticism. In this context, I want to make it very clear. If I have a decision to make with our supporters and soldiers on one side and the so-called PIP people, voters on the other side, I come down and decide with our supporters and soldiers every single time. I love my UNC family, and I will never betray them. I will never sell them out like the PNM has done to so many of their own supporters. It is worthless, in my view, to build one's house on a foundation of sand, which is what these PIP people, party in power commentators, are. By definition, they will not stick with us through thick and thin. I want to quote from an email that someone sent me, and I use the words here. How many of you, including aspiring leaders, came to the assistance of the UNC to assist to prosecute its Tobago policy on self-governance to Tobago? Email continues. How many of you have been assessing the politically partisan role of the modus operandi of the Honourable Speaker in thwarting the performance of UNC MPs in the House, or forwarding ideas to your connections in the UNC designed to upgrade the performance of MPs? Continuing, how many of you have been calling on the media to stop and desist from isolating and denigrating the UNC/KPB as an arm of the PNM? Continues, leadership of the UNC cannot be provided by those not prepared to get down into the trenches and build from the base upwards. And that's what we have been doing. People cannot want to lead the UNC or get support from the UNC by insulting our members, calling them blind, calling them sheep, calling them sycophants, cursing them on the Facebook. But you want to lead them. The very people you want to lead, you condemn. People cannot campaign against and hurl abuse at UNC rank and file because they feel ashamed of themselves, because they want to ride with the elites. People can eat their fancy cheeses with their party in power friends. I will eat my pilau and talcari with my members. I am not ashamed. I love them all, our UNC members. They are strong and they can fight. You must fight. We must all join in this fight. Caste and class has been wiped out from the UNC under my leadership. Equality of opportunity has become the order of the day. Some denigrate our MPs, councillors and activists because they say come from poor backgrounds, they're poor taxi driver's son, whoever, daughter. You denigrate them. But you want that block of votes to ride into Parliament. For some, then to turn around and kick UNC supporters, like how PNM parliamentarians have been kicking some supporters. No way under my watch. UNC supporters are bright, hard-working people. I love my UNC family. I will never be ashamed by the fake outrage mob into silence. I am proud of our party. I ask you to be proud of your party. I am proud of my name. Urvashi, be proud of your name, girl. You have a beautiful name. It means she who can control the hearts of others. Go brave, Urvashi. I am proud of my heritage. Be proud of your heritage, whatever it may be. I am proud of my religion. You be proud of yours. I am proud that I came from the lagoons and the cane fields. You be proud of your roots. I am proud of the thousands who suffered in the lagoons and cane fields to give me and many of us a better life. I am proud of our forefathers. I always tell you, you may have other leaders before me. You definitely will have other leaders after me. But you will never have a leader who loves you more than I do. So go brave, keep strong. I just spent a few minutes, I said I wanted to talk to you from my heart about the way things are, this dangerous trend that is unfolding, that is quashing dissent, quashing differences of opinions, and I say we must fight back, we must rise up, and we must fight. The government came to Parliament on Friday with a finance bill. One part of the finance bill was to amend the Development Loans Act to increase the amount of money they can borrow under that act. Do you know, it took 14 governments, 31 years, to bring the borrowing levels up to about 30 billion, I think, or 35 billion, which it was when we left in 2015. But before us, 14 successive governments. Decades, 51 years. Decades under that act to bring it up to about that 35 billion in loans. In 6 years, this government has increased that borrowing limit, as they did on Friday in the Parliament, has brought it up to 60-something billion, 66.4 billion. In 6 years, in 6 years. Where we left it at the 30 billion, where it took, as I say, 14 governments, 51 years, they brought it in 6 years, because they've repeatedly amended this Development Loans Act to increase the amount of money to borrow just under that one act. And that is notwithstanding the fact that they've been dipping and raiding the HSF, notwithstanding the fact that under other laws for allowing them to borrow, as of September last year, 2020, they had headroom, meaning borrowing room, of up to $66 billion. So this is in addition to all the ones they have under other statutes. The question then arises, where is this money going? Where the money gone? Where is it going? People are suffering, they're not getting the grants, they're not getting the help, they're not getting the assistance, people are losing their jobs, but you're spending billions of dollars. Borrow, penalize, tax and spend. That is their only recipe for growing this economy. No plans, no programs to increase revenue streams, to diversify the economy. All their plans are about borrow, 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 tax, 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 penalize, 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 and spend. Where is the money going? Where is it going? They will not answer. And when you ask questions like these, they hurl some vile language at you. And when you answer back, well, they get upset, of course. I don't blame them. So borrowings. They came to in the Parliament, amended several pieces of laws under this Finance Act to do what? To increase the payment of penalties, fines. Somebody might say it's like a piper government. Every little place under the petty larceny law, increasing fines. Not to help the farmers, They were increasing fines if you were selling above a certain amount of produce, that you have to pay a fine if you go above a certain amount. So to keep you like a little small farmer all the time and let the big boys go. That's what it was about. Several pieces of legislation amending to increase penalties and fines to pay to government. They came to Parliament on Friday as well. A major chunk of the amendment had to do with what they are calling liberalizing the fuel, the energy sector. And all the fancy language and the fancy words, what it means is that the price of fuel at the pump is going to increase. And when it increases at the pump, you pay it. When the price on the world market increases, you pay it. When the price falls, you still pay, but the government keeps it. So the price of oil, budgeted at certain amounts, it fluctuates on the world market. Right now, I think certain events happening, the oil market, the prices have spiked. So when the price of the oil goes up, because the government is liberalizing this thing and removing the subsidy and so on and putting some levy, when the price is high, the government keeps the money. When the price is low, the government makes a profit. They keep the money either which way, but you at the pump, you the taxpayer, you will pay more. And when that happens, when the price of fuel goes up, everything else in the country is going to go up. Transportation, cost will increase, and once that increases, every single good, goods and services will be impacted with increased prices. Every single thing. So we will expect to see from this liberalization a further increase in the cost of living, a further increase. Tobago, what can I say? We prosecuted the Tobago matter. We are in solidarity with the people of Tobago. We stand in defense of the people of Tobago. And someone has told me, and I'll share it with you, that the THA election will be in or about September this year. And it makes sense, because you need a THA, the assembly, to pass a budget. They pass the budget there and then it comes down to the National Parliament and so on. But you don't have a duly constituted assembly. It's 6-6. I wonder if you remember in the days of the 1717, in the days when the Parliament was tied, a similar thing happened. Mr. Manning continued in government. We were 1818. So the Parliament was deadlocked. And Mr. Manning ran the Parliament for almost a whole year. The Parliament and the country without any sittings of the Parliament, because we were deadlocked in the Parliament. And then what did he do? He called the election because he had to pass a budget. And you couldn't pass a budget without the parliament. So it's the same thing for the THA. I tend to believe that in or about September, or certainly in time for September, that the THA election will be called. It will be for the people of Tobago to make their decisions as they see fit. Finally, I want to remind you of some words a US president famously once said: freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. And therefore, this generation of the people of Trinidad and Tobago, what we are facing is the greatest threat to our freedoms in our history with the Rowley PNM. Now is not a time for playing nice. Now is a time to stand up and fight for our democracy. We are in the middle of a pandemic, but the real danger is the virus that is the Rowley PNM. This Rowley PNM government is a pathogen that has infected our nation, spreading across every sector: economy, crime, education, energy, creative arts, in every sector. There is nothing Keith Rowley touches that manages to thrive and grow. We must save our country by removing this virus. Our democracy is under attack. As I outlined earlier, we will not stand for the continued abuses in our parliament by the PNM and those who aid and abet in eroding our democracy. As I told you, we have already filed the motion of no confidence in the Speaker. I want to remind you, all of this fight is not just about UNC and Kamla. This fight is for the freedom and democracy of our entire nation. I enjoin you, I entreat you, stand up and fight, because one day if we don't, it will be too late and you will no longer be able to enjoy the liberties that you have enjoyed in our system of democracy. Thank you, God bless, keep safe and follow all the health protocols. Thank you very much.
Blessings to all. Welcome to Facts, Not Fiction. I'm your host, Victor Roberts. Join me Thursday the 8th at 7:30 p.m. sharp. Yes, 7:30 p.m. sharp. As we discuss government cover-up in Petrotrin fake oil scandal. This Thursday, ladies and gentlemen, as we discuss facts, no fiction, I'm out.